you're anything like me, then in these days of uncertainty, you are constantly asking questions. Questions of yourself, questions of others, and in particular, questions of God. This week, I'm inviting you to step back from all the questions that you may be asking and to focus for just 5 minutes each day on some of the questions that Jesus Christ asked when he walked on the earth. If you're wondering how those questions could possibly have any bearing on your life right now, it's worth noting that Jesus intentionally came to live in a place and a time in history of profound political unrest, of economic instability, of cultural division, where severe sickness was a reality of daily life and each day a struggle just to make ends meet. If anybody gets how you might be feeling today, it is God. Today's question is recorded in the Gospel of John, one of the accounts of Jesus' life found in the Bible, in chapter 4. This question occurs in a conversation which takes place at midday by a well in the foothills of Samaria between Jesus and a Samaritan woman. And these striking details immediately tell us 3 reasons why this conversation should never happen. There is a racial boundary between the Jews and Samaritans after centuries of bad blood. There is a gender boundary, as it was taboo for male and female strangers to talk to one another, particularly alone. And there was a social boundary. The fact the woman is fetching water in the middle of the day implies she carries some kind of social stigmatization. Otherwise, she would have been welcome with the other women collecting water in the cool of the morning rather than in the unbearable heat. Race, gender, social stigmatization, all 3 strong reasons why we would expect Jesus to never have spoken with her. But what does he do? He immediately breaks the silence by asking this question: will you give me a drink? At first glance, it may seem kind of disrespectful. Hang on a second, Jesus. You've only just met this woman and you're already asking her to fetch stuff for you? But if we think that, we've completely missed the point. In this one simple, beautifully constructed opening question, Jesus smashes through centuries of culturally reinforced racism, sexism, and social stigmatization to let her know that as far as he is concerned, he doesn't see her through any of the labels that other people have put upon her. Samaritan, woman, sinner. The story even tells us that Jesus' own disciples are surprised to find him talking to a woman. And yet Jesus looks her in the eye, he sees her worthy of his time and attention, and he starts a meaningful conversation. And perhaps even more beautiful here than what Jesus is doing is the way that he does it. Because Jesus' behavior flies in the face of Jewish custom, which apparently taught, let no Israelite eat one mouthful of anything that is a Samaritan's, for if he eat but a little mouthful, it's as if he ate swine's flesh. But by specifically asking this woman for water to drink from her own water jar, Jesus is shattering her assumption that he sees her as unclean right from the very minute that he opens his mouth. In one simple question, this woman experiences Jesus as someone who sees her first and foremost as a human being. And in a day and age where civility is increasingly lost in our public discourse and social interactions, we could learn a lot from Jesus here. Someone who acknowledges the person before the politics, someone who sees an individual as distinct from their social identity, and someone who prioritizes a relationship before roles. What about you today? Perhaps there are reasons why you've been feeling like you can't connect with God. There are things that you think would disqualify you. Maybe you've assumed if God really knew the truth about me, about who I am, where I've been, what I've done, he wouldn't be interested in me. In this one interaction, Jesus shows us that there is no boundary that could keep us from him. You may feel at a distance from everything and everyone, but there is no distance God isn't willing to cross for you. Why? Because not only has Jesus come to drink our water, to experience life from our perspective, but as he reveals later in this conversation, he has come to offer us what we're truly thirsting for. We all have physical needs. We're reminded of that more than ever right now. And yet, if there's one thing that all of this current existential angst and fear reveals about humanity, it's that we're all experiencing a thirst that runs far deeper than physical need, a craving, a desperation for something that perhaps we didn't even know we needed. To know that whatever may happen in life and death, we are secure, we are seen, we are known, we are loved. The water that Jesus offers us isn't just about meeting our physical needs, but he calls it a spring of living water welling up to eternal life, a stream that will never run dry. Wouldn't that be amazing? To have a source of life that draws from a well so deep that no matter your circumstances, you experience each day as overwhelming life. This is a living hope Jesus offers to every one of us. No matter where you may be or how far away you are, there is no distance he can't overcome to bring that to you today.